Picture this. You're driving across a bridge, the kind that's so high, you can't see the bottom. So long, you can't see the other side. So old, you can feel it sway under your tires. Your knuckles are white on the steering wheel. Your foot hovers over the brake, and you're thinking one thing: please, let me make it across. Most bridges are fine, solid, safe, boring even. But some bridges, they test you. Your nerves, your trust in engineering, your belief that metal and concrete can actually hold you hundreds of feet in the air. Welcome to America's most terrifying bridges, where crossing isn't just a commute, it's a psychological challenge. America has over 600,000 bridges. Most of them are perfectly safe. You drive over them every day without thinking twice. But some bridges are different. They're too high, too narrow, too old, too exposed to wind, waves, or weather. Today, we're counting down 10 U.S. bridges you should be terrified to drive over. Not because they're unsafe, most are structurally sound, but because they're designed in ways that make your brain scream, "This is a bad idea." Some are heart-stoppingly high. Some are so narrow, you're inches from the edge. And some are so old, you wonder if today's the day they finally give up. As we go through this list, imagine the same thing. You're in the driver's seat, and there's no turning back. Let's start with a bridge where the fear isn't the height, it's the width, or lack of it. Number 10. 7 Mile Bridge, Florida. The 7 Mile Bridge connects the Florida Keys. It's exactly what it sounds like: 7 miles of bridge over open water. It was built in 1982 to replace an older bridge from 1912. It's modern, well-maintained, structurally sound. So why is it terrifying? Because it's 7 miles long, over open ocean, with no shoulder, no emergency lane, nowhere to pull over. The old bridge sits right next to it, crumbling, falling apart, a reminder of what happens when bridges get old. You can see it from your car, sections missing, concrete breaking off into the ocean. It's not comforting. Now imagine driving it during a storm. Rain is pounding, wind is gusting, waves are crashing over the sides. You're halfway across, 3.5 miles from either end, and your car starts making a noise. A bad noise. You can't stop. There's no shoulder. Cars are behind you. You have to keep going. Your car is losing power. You're slowing down, and you're still miles from land. You glance at the old bridge again, falling apart. You wonder how long before this one starts doing the same thing. The thought doesn't help. Do you make it? Maybe. But for 3.5 miles, you're not sure, and that's the fear. 7 Mile Bridge isn't dangerous because of poor construction. It's terrifying because of distance. If something goes wrong, you're stuck in the middle of the ocean with no escape. But at least 7 Mile Bridge is flat and straight. The next bridge? You can't even see where you're going. Number 9. Sunshine Skyway Bridge, Florida. The Sunshine Skyway Bridge spans Tampa Bay. It's 4.1 miles long and rises 190 feet above the water at its highest point. It's a beautiful bridge. Cable-stayed design. Bright yellow supports. Looks like something from a postcard. Until you're driving over it in high winds. The original Sunshine Skyway collapsed in 1980. A freighter hit it during a storm. Part of the bridge fell into the bay. 35 people went down with it. The new bridge was built to prevent that from happening again. But knowing that doesn't make you feel better when you're halfway across. Now imagine this. You're crossing during a thunderstorm. The bridge is so high, you're literally driving into the clouds. Wind gusts hit your car. You feel it push you sideways. You grip the steering wheel tighter. You look to your right. The edge of the bridge is right there. A small concrete barrier is all that's between you and a 190-foot drop into Tampa Bay. Your brain does the math. 190 feet. That's a 20-story building. You wouldn't survive. The wind gusts again, harder this time. Your car swerves. You overcorrect. Your heart is pounding. You're not even halfway across. The Sunshine Skyway is safe. Millions of people cross it every year without incident. But when the wind is high and the weather is bad, it doesn't feel safe. It feels like you're gambling with physics and hoping you don't lose. But at least the Sunshine Skyway is wide. The next bridge, you're practically driving on a tightrope. Number 8. Chesapeake Bay Bridge, Maryland. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge connects Maryland's eastern shore to the rest of the state. It's 4.3 miles long, 2 lanes in each direction. Sounds fine, right? Except the lanes are narrow, really narrow, and there's no shoulder, and the bridge is high, and it's often windy. The bridge was built in 1952. They added a second span in 1973. Both spans are narrow, both are unforgiving. And when the wind picks up off the Chesapeake Bay, both become white-knuckle experiences. Now imagine driving it during rush hour. Traffic is moving fast. Trucks are on both sides of you. You're sandwiched between an 18-wheeler and the edge of the bridge. The truck drifts slightly into your lane. You swerve right, toward the edge. You look over. There's nothing but a low guardrail between you and a 186-foot drop into the Chesapeake Bay. Your hands are sweating. Your heart is racing. And you're only 1 mile in, 3 more to go. Oh, and if you have a fear of bridges gophyrophobia, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Authority actually offers a drive-over service. They'll send someone to drive your car across for you. Because they know this bridge breaks people. Thousands of people use the service every year. They're not ashamed. They're just honest about the fact that this bridge is psychologically brutal. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge isn't dangerous, but it's psychologically brutal, long, narrow, high, windy, and unforgiving. And if that sounds bad, the next bridge takes high to a whole new level. Number 7. Royal Gorge Bridge, Colorado. The Royal Gorge Bridge in Colorado is one of the highest suspension bridges in the United States. 955 feet above the Arkansas River. That's almost 1,000 feet. That's taller than the Eiffel Tower. That's 95 stories. It was built in 1929 for tourists, as an attraction, not as a functional highway. But people still drive across it because it's there and because they want to say they did. The bridge is 1,260 feet long. The deck is made of wooden planks. Yes, wood, not concrete, not steel grating, wood. And you can see between the planks, down to the river, 955 feet below. Now imagine being halfway across. You look down through the wooden planks. Yes, wooden planks, and you see the river, nearly 1,000 feet below. The bridge sways. Not much, but enough. Enough that you feel it. Enough that your brain says, this is not natural. The wind picks up. The bridge sways more. You're gripping the wheel. Your passenger is not talking, because they're also terrified. You're not even sure the bridge is wide enough for 2 cars. It is, barely, but it doesn't feel like it. You think about the fact that this bridge was built in 1929, before modern safety standards, before computer modeling, before engineers really understood wind dynamics. And somehow it's still standing. That should be reassuring. It's not. The Royal Gorge Bridge is technically safe, but your brain doesn't care about technically. Your brain cares about the fact that you're suspended 955 feet in the air on a bridge from 1929. And if you think that's terrifying, the next bridge combines height with a location that makes it even worse. Number 6. Mike O'Callahan, Pat Tillman, Memorial Bridge, Nevada, Arizona. This bridge, commonly called the Hoover Dam Bypass, spans the Colorado River near Hoover Dam. It's 890 feet above the water, and it's breathtaking, in both the good way and the I can't breathe because I'm terrified way. The bridge is modern, opened in 2010, concrete arch design, structurally brilliant. But it's high. Really, really high. The bridge is 1,900 feet long. It took 5 years to build. And it's absolutely necessary. Before it was built, everyone had to drive across the top of Hoover Dam, which was narrow, slow, and a security nightmare, so they built this bridge instead, which solved those problems and created a new one. Sheer terror. Now imagine driving across it on a windy day. You're on the Arizona side. You start crossing. The bridge rises, higher and higher. You look to your left, the edge of the bridge, the guardrail, and then nothing. Just 890 feet of empty air between you and the Colorado River. You look ahead. The bridge curves slightly. You can't see the other side yet, just the arch and the sky. A gust of wind hits. Your car shifts slightly. You tense up. Your foot eases off the gas. You're barely going 40 now. The speed limit is 45, but you don't care. You just want off this bridge. The views are incredible. People stop at the pedestrian walkway to take photos, but from the driver's seat, you're not admiring the view. You're just trying not to look down. And if you do look down, you see Hoover Dam, right there, massive. And it reminds you that you're driving over one of the most important pieces of infrastructure in the American West. Which means if something goes wrong with this bridge, it's not just you, It's a national crisis. The Mike O'Callaghan-Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge is a marvel of engineering, but driving across it feels like tempting fate. And if you think 890 feet is high, the next bridge makes that look tame. Number 5. New River Gorge Bridge, West Virginia. The New River Gorge Bridge in West Virginia is one of the most iconic bridges in America. It's 876 feet above the New River. That's 87 stories, almost as tall as the Chrysler Building. It was the longest single-arch bridge in the world when it opened in 1977. And it's stunning, especially in fall when the leaves change. People come from all over to see it. But driving across it, that's a different experience. The bridge is 3,030 feet long. It cut what used to be a 40-minute drive down to less than a minute. Before the bridge, you had to wind down into the gorge and back up the other side. Now you just drive straight across, which is convenient, unless you're afraid of heights. Now imagine this. You're crossing during a foggy morning. Visibility is low. You can barely see 50 feet ahead. You're halfway across. The bridge disappears into the fog on both sides. You can't see the bottom. You can't see the other side. You're just driving into white. Your brain starts playing tricks on you. Is the bridge still there? Are you still on it? What if you drift off the edge and don't realize until it's too late? You slow down. Way down. Other cars pass you. They're locals. They've done this 1,000 times. They're fine. You're not fine. The fog clears for a second. You glance to the right, and you see it. The drop, the gorge, the river. So far below it, looks like a ribbon. Your stomach drops. You look forward. Focus on the road. Don't look down again. Every year on Bridge Day, the third Saturday in October, they close the bridge to traffic and let people base jump off it. Hundreds of people. They jump 876 feet into the gorge, on purpose, for fun. You think about that as you're driving across, and it doesn't make you feel better. The New River Gorge Bridge is safe. But when you're 876 feet in the air, surrounded by fog, your brain doesn't believe it. And if fog makes a bridge terrifying, the next one adds ice, snow, and sub-zero temperatures to the mix. Number 4. Mackinac Bridge, Michigan. The Mackinac Bridge locals call it Big Mac, connects Michigan's upper and lower peninsulas. It's 5 miles long. It rises 200 feet above the Straits of Mackinac, and it's exposed to some of the worst weather in the Midwest. Wind, ice, snow, all of it. The bridge is so vulnerable to high winds that during storms, they close it to certain vehicles. No trucks, no trailers, no motorcycles. And if the wind is bad enough, they close it entirely. The bridge opened in 1957. It's one of the longest suspension bridges in the world, and it's gorgeous, except when you're driving across it in a blizzard. Now imagine driving it in November. The wind is gusting at 50 miles per hour. The bridge is swaying. You can feel it. Your car is being pushed sideways. You're fighting the steering wheel just to stay in your lane. You look to your right, the guardrail, then the edge, then nothing. Just 200 feet of air, and the freezing waters of Lake Michigan and Lake Huron below. The wind gusts again. Your car drifts. You're inches from the edge. You overcorrect. Now you're drifting into the other lane. A semi-truck is coming toward you. You swerve back. Your heart is in your throat. You're only 2 miles in. 3 more to go. And then, you remember. People have gone over the side of this bridge. Not many, but some. In high winds. In bad weather. They lost control, and they went into the water. You try not to think about that. You fail. The Mackinac Bridge is safe, but when the wind is howling and the bridge is swaying and you're 200 feet above freezing water, it doesn't feel safe. It feels like survival. And if wind and ice sound terrifying, the next bridge adds a factor that makes it even worse. It's old. Really old. Number 3. Deception Pass Bridge, Washington. Deception Pass Bridge connects Whidbey Island to Fidalgo Island in Washington State. It was built in 1935. That's almost 90 years ago. It's a beautiful bridge. Historic, scenic. People love it. Until they have to drive across it. The bridge is narrow, really narrow. 2 lanes, no shoulder, and it's high, 180 feet above the water. Oh, and it's often windy, because it spans a narrow pass where water from the Strait of Juan de Fuca rushes through at high speeds. The bridge is actually 2 spans, one over Canoe Pass, one over Deception Pass. They're connected by a small island in the middle called Pass Island, so you're crossing two separate bridges, which means two separate opportunities to panic. Now imagine driving it on a blustery day. You're heading north. The wind is coming from the west, hitting your car sideways. The bridge is so narrow that when a truck passes you going the other direction, you're inches apart. You grip the wheel. The truck passes. The wind hits you. Your car swerves toward the edge. You correct, but your heart is pounding because you just saw how close you were to the edge, to the guardrail, to the 180-foot drop into the churning water below. You glance down. The water is moving fast. Whirlpools, currents. If you went in, you wouldn't come out. You make it to Pass Island. You breathe. Then you realize you have to do it again. The second span. Same narrow lanes, same wind, same drop. Deception Pass Bridge is a landmark, but it's also a test of nerve, of focus, of trust in a bridge that's been standing since 1935. And if an old narrow bridge sounds bad, the next one is even narrower and even older. Number 2. Carrick-a-Reid Rope Bridge, Northern Ireland. Actually, scratch that. Let's talk about the Capilano Suspension Bridge in Canada. Wait, also wrong country. Okay, for real this time. Number 2. Hurricane Deck Bridge, Missouri. The Hurricane Deck Bridge spans the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. It was built in 1936. It's narrow, 2 lanes, no shoulder, and it's over water, deep water. The bridge has a metal grate surface, which means you can see through the road to the water below. The lake wasn't even there when the bridge was originally planned. The Bagnell Dam was being built, the lake was being created, and they needed a bridge to cross where the Osage River used to be. So they built this, a metal grate bridge, cheap, functional, terrifying. Now imagine driving across it for the first time. You start across, and you look down, and you see water through the road. Your brain short circuits, because roads aren't supposed to be see-through. You hear the metal grating under your tires, a loud rattling hum. It sounds wrong, like something's breaking. You grip the wheel, keep your eyes forward, don't look down. But you do, you can't help it, and you see the lake, right there, through the floor of the bridge. Your car is inches from the edge. The guardrail is low, too low. If you went over, you'd go straight into the lake. And it's not a shallow lake. Lake of the Ozarks is deep, over 100 feet in some places. Cold. If you went in, rescue would take time you might not have. The Hurricane Deck Bridge isn't particularly high, but it doesn't need to be. The graded surface does all the psychological damage, because seeing through the road makes your brain think the road isn't there. And if a graded bridge sounds like a nightmare, the number 1 spot goes to a bridge that combines everything: height, length, wind, and a design that makes you question physics itself. Number 1. Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel, Virginia. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel is not just a bridge. It's a 17.6-mile crossing that combines bridges, tunnels, man-made islands, and open water. You drive over bridges, then you descend into tunnels that go underwater. Then you come back up onto more bridges. It's an engineering marvel, one of the 7 engineering wonders of the modern world. It's also 17.6 miles of sustained anxiety. The structure opened in 1964. It cost $200 million. It connects Virginia Beach to the eastern shore, and it's the only way across unless you want to drive hours out of your way. So people use it. Even people who are absolutely terrified of it. Now imagine driving it during a storm. You start on the Virginia Beach side. The first bridge is 2 miles long, over open water. Rain is pounding. Waves are crashing against the supports. Wind is gusting. You make it to the first tunnel. You descend underground, underwater. You're relieved. At least you're out of the wind. But then you remember, you're in a tunnel, under the Chesapeake Bay, with millions of gallons of water above you. What if there's a leak? What if the tunnel floods? What if you get stuck down here? You come back up, another bridge, then another tunnel, then another bridge. You're 10 miles in. You're exhausted. Your shoulders are tense. Your hands hurt from gripping the wheel. And you're not even done yet. There are 4 man-made islands along the route. They're where the bridges meet the tunnels. You can pull over, catch your breath, but most people don't. Because stopping means acknowledging how scared you are, and starting again means facing the fear all over. By the time you reach the other side, you've been white-knuckling it for 20+ minutes. No breaks, no pull-offs, just 17.6 miles of bridges and tunnels over open water. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel is safe. Thousands of people cross it every day. But it's not a bridge. It's an endurance test. And if you have any fear of heights, water, tunnels, or confined spaces, it's all your nightmares in one crossing. So there you have it. 10 bridges where crossing isn't just driving, it's conquering fear. Some are high, some are narrow, some are old, and some are just so long, you start wondering if you'll ever see land again. But they all prove the same thing. Bridges are incredible feats of engineering, but they're also tests of nerve. Because when you're suspended hundreds of feet in the air, over water or gorges or nothing at all, your brain stops trusting the math and starts imagining everything that could go wrong. Most of these bridges are perfectly safe, but safety and terror aren't mutually exclusive. You can know something is safe and still be terrified. So next time you're planning a road trip, maybe check if your route includes any of these bridges. And if it does, take a deep breath, grip the wheel, and whatever you do, don't look down. Thanks for watching.